Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 8, our final week of our stress management journey that we've been on together. Before I do anything, I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you who were able to join us for that live call on Wednesday. It was really nice seeing your faces and being able to connect with you in person. I know that it wasn't possible necessarily for you to see everybody at the same time, which was kind of my initial goal. But even through those breakout rooms, just being able to put a face to a name, I hope that you found that time was useful. I also hope that as you interacted with the material from last week, the schedule and the routines, that you were able to find something that worked for you. Some of you had reached out and asked if I would have preferred it to be a day schedule or a week schedule. That really was totally up to you. I wanted you to find some type of methodology or system that worked for you, your family, what you have going on. And to be totally transparent, I'm positive that schedule is going to need to shift and modify again. I know that this week coming up, a lot of us are jumping into that online instruction model. And so there's going to be a lot of juggling between personal responsibilities, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our families, making sure our students are provided for. So now more than ever, maybe reworking that schedule to keep holding sacred those spaces for self-care, I think is going to be really, really important. This week being our last week, and I kind of alluded to this in our live call, is really going to be focused on goal setting and habits. So I have a couple things for you to interact with this week that are around that topic area. If you look on Canvas for this week, you'll see that the first thing is this overview video. So you'll be able to watch this and get kind of the information that you'll need for this week. The second piece is a tab that is a discussion piece, and it says Atomic Habits James Clear Podcast. So setting goals can be a really intimidating process for a lot of people. In fact, if you look at probably your own history with goals, and I know I was the same way, we have these like big audacious goals that we usually set at the start of the year. So January for us tends to be that goal setting time period. And we go into it and we are like all guns a-blazing, let's get this moving. And then usually it starts to peter out really quickly because we set such large expectations for ourselves. So throughout this course, I purposefully have given you a ton of tools, and I know it's been a lot of information, but I picture this like toolbox, and I've told you before that all of these little things that you've been interacting with are just little tools to put in your toolbox. So I do not expect you to interact with every single one on a daily basis. In fact, there might be some that you never revisit again, but I was hopeful that you would at least find one tool in this little toolbox that you just created that you would like to invest in and incorporate regularly into your routine and your schedule. So this goal process is going to be focused on that tool that you want to interact with more and you want to bring more into, have more abundance of that in your week and month and your goals. So James Clear, who wrote the book Atomic Habits, he does a really nice job of breaking down goal setting into these really small, attainable, achievable micro habits. There are 2 ways that you can listen to him for this discussion. I put 2 podcast links. The first one is a conversation with Dan Harris, who has hosts the podcast 10% Happier. And I love this conversation. It's longer. It's about an hour and 20-ish minutes. But it goes deep into James Clear's background, kind of his story, where he comes from, why this was important to him. So it gives you kind of this holistic sense of where this idea came from for him. But I know that that's a little bit lengthy. So the other choice is from Harvard Business Review. And this is like a 25-minute conversation. It's right to the point. It's not as like, humanistic. It doesn't have that same storytelling type quality, but you'll get the little bits and pieces that I wanted you to get from that. So depending on your time and what you're juggling this week, you can choose your own adventure of what format you want to digest the information in. I also attached a PDF that has the information as well. So I do want you to pick a podcast, but that's just something extra in case you wanted to look at that. So that's the first assignment. And then the second assignment is really your 10-point project. So they are connected. They're the exact same thing. And that is to set a goal for you moving forward with any type of tool that you've utilized through this process. So I'm having you do the goal in what I call a WHOOP format. If you've never set a WHOOP goal, it's a wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. I have a little video clip that explains what that process looks like and what you're filling out. There's a PDF that you're going to save to your desktop. You're going to type into it, and then you're going to attach it to that submission box when you turn this in, okay? You'll see all those instructions for you as you go through that module. I also put underneath extra resources a PDF and kind of an overview that I used to use in my classroom with my students. So it's a very step-by-step guide to setting WHOOP goals. I thought that even now during this process of online learning and transitioning, it might be really nice to do kind of a goal setting exercise first thing. Like, what are their expectations for this time together? What are your expectations for this time together? What types of goals can they set for themselves when it comes to their learning platform? So I put that in there for you. You don't have to turn anything in with that. That extra resources tab is just for you in case you wanted to use this with your kiddos. As far as the other projects go, I've gotten a few emails and questions about that. So I just wanted to clarify that all of the assignments that you've done in the modules, they have been collectively grouping together to form your 30 and 20 point projects. So you do not have anything else to submit for those. The 30 point projects, those happened with each of your weekly reflections on the tools that I introduced. So you've had 8 reflections. And then your 20 point project is all of the other material you've interacted with. So the Flipgrid that you did, the podcast that you've listened to, the TED Talks that you've watched. So most of your discussions, that is the formula for your 20 point project. So the only submission that you have to do when it comes to projects is that 10 point WHOOP goal, which is listed underneath this week's module. Okay. So I hope that you get some new ideas around goal setting and habits this week from the podcast and from that WHOOP goal video. I hope that you know how much I appreciate your vulnerability and your openness and your stories that you've shared with me throughout our time together. I am here always. I love to help educators. I have a place in my heart for all educators and what they do for our kiddos. And if I can help you with anything, whether it be resources or just lend an ear or activities or whatnot, please know that I am always available and totally willing and want to be there for you in any way that I can. So thank you for a great 8 weeks. I hope that you gathered some little tidbits of information that can help serve you. And please, please, please remember to fill your cup up as much as you possibly can, now more than ever. That's the only way that we're able to show up for others. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing all of you again, maybe in another class soon. Take care.